Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first video of a three-part video series I'm doing sponsored by Blizzard for their brand new game, Warcraft Rumble. When Blizzard reached out and wanted to sponsor this video, I was super excited. I've played so many different Blizzard games, and of course, anything they release is usually pretty good. But I've been playing World of Warcraft, Overwatch. I played a little bit of Diablo. I played Hearthstone. I've been big into a lot of the Blizzard games, and so having them come out with a new mobile game is always pretty fun. Hearthstone is something I really enjoyed on mobile, and Rumble so far has been something I've been enjoying a lot too. So today I want to go over sort of what I think about this game and tell you guys a little bit about it so you guys know exactly what to look forward to with Blizzard's new mobile game. But anyways, let me tell you about Warcraft Rumble. So Warcraft Rumble is a mobile game and it's based around strategy. And at the beginning, it throws you right into a match. So as you can see, there's sort of this tower defense thing going on. I'm gonna let myself die here just to show you. So the enemy will spawn minis, is what they're called in this game. Forgive me if I call them minions, but they are called minis. They'll basically spawn a bunch of these guys, and these guys' mission is to take down your towers. Once your towers are all gone, you've lost. Your goal in the PvE is to try and take down the main tower, or their main defense, and that's how you win. So it's a game of push and pull, and you're really trying to take over all of these sort of landmarks on the map. Each map is gonna be different in PvE, and in PvP, things are a little bit more balanced, but in the PvE with 70 plus missions or so, they're all going to be a little bit different because they want to give you a different sort of feeling. So I'm just going to put these down here so I don't die. So the balance of this game is based around gold and what you're summoning. So if you look over here, you can see I have this gold meter building up over time. This gold meter is what we're really paying attention to in order to not instantly kind of lose the game or make the wrong decisions. Because down here, you can see we have 4 minis that we can choose from, and they all have a different gold cost. You need to balance your gold usage, summon the right minis in order to actually win these push and pull fights. So as you can see, that's how you lose. You just let them take your tower. So before I show you exactly how to play the game and some tips and tricks and some strategies that I found, let me give you my first impressions of the game so far. Overall, I've been enjoying this game a lot. The idea of building sort of a deck of minis and using them to try and outsmart the opponents is really fun for me. I actually really like this type of game. I just picked it up a day or two ago, so I haven't been playing too long. But if you go over here and look, I have some other troops collected. I have 10 total. There's 54 total collectible troops right now. I do not know if that's counting the leaders. I believe that is not. So there are also leader minis that you get to use. I chose Blood Mage Thalanos because I like warlocks, and that's just a vibe, you know. And at the beginning of the game, they're gonna let you choose one of these leaders. Now, your leader, honestly, it is really important, but at the very beginning of the game, it doesn't really matter that much. You can actually pick any leader at the beginning of the game and you're still gonna be able to clear it because the difficulty spikes slowly over time. In PvP, it might matter later on, but the nice thing is that you actually don't only get one leader. You can get all of the leaders eventually. It just takes a little bit of time. Now, when I say time, obviously, this is a mobile game. It is free to play, but there are microtransactions in it, and you can pay to progress a little bit faster. But the only time that really matters is if you are trying to rush to the end because you're like a YouTuber or something gross, or if you're trying to get ahead of the curve in PvP. But like other sort of mobile games, you can really get ahead of the curve with just game knowledge and making the right decisions along the way. So me, I have not necessarily made the right decisions along the way. I've just sort of been picking up random things, throwing them on the wall and seeing what sticks. So one thing to know is that there's a couple different kinds of minions. So as you can see here, under traits for the Null Brute, right? You can see he's a melee minion, he's AoE, and he's a tank. These are important things to know when you're looking at which minions to go ahead and put together in your team. If you look at Darkspear Troll, he's ranged and single target, so he's good at taking out those flying enemies. If we look over here at Safe Pilot, they're going to be a ranged elemental unbound AoE unit. Over here, if we look at Flame Waker, we have Bombard, which is just attacks ground enemies only, even though he's ranged. But he does deal a lot of damage to ground enemies. So that's something worth keeping in mind. Basically, all these different things will matter because ultimately you're trying to create a well-rounded team that can deal with everything. However, you still want to pick up the best minions that you possibly can. 4 out of these 6 that I have right here are free. By free, I mean you start the game with them. You actually get all, I've gotten everything on this account for free. I haven't spent a dime on this game, but you start the game with 4 of these guys. Safe Pilot, let me tell you, this one is one of the best in the entire game. Unbound is something that you're going to definitely want to keep 1 or 2 of in your team at all times, because what it's going to allow you to do is play them anywhere on the map. Typically, most of these minis can only be played in a certain zone, zones that you control specifically, so tower zones. Any zones that you can control, you can put any of these guys down on, but if you have Unbound, you can place them anywhere anywhere in the map. There's a couple areas on the map that are very important to know about, so I will go over those with you right now. As you can see, I'm only on the 9th mission. By completing these single player missions, you get sigils. At 10 sigils, you unlock guilds, which is going to be my next unlock. So I'm super excited about that. And we're going to hop into PvE and I can show you sort of what I'm talking about. So right off the bat, a chest is going to spawn in a specific location. This chest is already spawned right here. The unbound units that you have, you can use them to instantly clear out these chests. Now, what I was talking about earlier with gold is you want to actually collect these chests and things to try and get ahead on the gold curve. Okay, right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and throw down a range unit here. And they're going to grab the gold out of the chest right away, but that's totally fine. Range unit we're going to use to take out the flying guys. This thing flies around the map and does some damage. Now we have our safe pilot, right? So with our safe pilot, whenever that chest spawns, if I don't have access to that chest immediately and enemies are coming for that chest, I can just drop safe pilot right on top, and I'll tell you guys when I'm doing that. Another thing that we have is the kobold right here. The kobolds can mine gold. Right now we have 6 gold, but if we throw them down in the left lane, there's some mines, and they can go ahead and take them over. So hit play. I'm going to drop them over on the left side. You see these gold rocks? He's going to grab those gold rocks. So he's going to go up here. He's going to collect gold. That's going to put us ahead of the curve on currency. When you're ahead of the curve on currency, then you basically are controlling the game and the pace of the game. So now we need 3 more. The chest is going to spawn relatively soon, but I'm not too worried about it because whenever that chest does spawn, we're already in control of this side of the field, so we're totally fine. We also control this statue now, which is super nice. That means we can also put down minis right here, and we already have control of this chest. I'm not worried about it. We don't have to throw down safe pilot. We have 8 currency, so we're going to go ahead and throw down some minis, and the minis are all going to stack up and burst. What you want to do most of the time in this game is not just summon everything as soon as it's available, but try to stack up a bunch of gold at once because it allows you to send your waves in bursts. You can space them out a little bit if you're worried about getting hit by a spell, because there's things like this, the lightning spell that I have out in my hand right now. This can clear out a wave really fast, but you want to send them in waves even if they're not completely next to each other. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So that way you can kind of control the space and take really big fights. Make sure that you are obliterating all of the enemy minis that are coming at you. So now that we've spawned this tower, we can actually move up where we're beginning to spawn our minis, which is super nice. And as you can see, we're already hitting the final boss tower. All right, so this chest is up. We're going to go ahead and grab it. I'm not in any rush because there's not any minis that are going to beat me to it. So I'm not going to use safe pilot yet, but safe pilot's super good. We might drop safe pilot on these guys. We're going to throw down our kobold miner, drop safe pilot here. Boom. Take them out, and now we can officially move up our safe pilot. Our safe pilot is a supporting unit on the ground that's basically just able to deal AoE damage from anywhere. I love this unit. She's so good, and you should absolutely use her. Okay, our kobold miner's gonna go for these rocks right over here now, and we are just dishing out so much damage to that cannon. I'm gonna drop this lightning spell. There we go. Look at all that damage. I'm gonna drop safe pilot on top of it. There we go. We already won. So it's just stuff like that. It's actually nice and simple once you understand sort of the push and pull of waves and how to control resources. Your goal is if the enemies are sending kobolds down the gold lanes, you want to make sure to get them off the gold because you want that. That's all yours. You're going to be greedy. That's the goal. Once you complete a PvE mission, you get rewards and you can get things like this. They'll just give you multiple options at different troops that you can pick up. These are squad troops specifically they're giving us. So angry chickens, it drops like a ton of them. Overwhelm, the hardiest of tanks and towers. Usually squads are good for all going in on one enemy. There's a really tanky guy. Bandits are nice because they'll sneak up and stun enemies, so we'll probably take bandits. But skeletons are an unbound unit, which is nice. We're gonna go ahead and take bandits. Collection level up, unlock guilds. Now, there are rewards for joining guilds. I do recommend you do it. You don't even have to know anyone in the guild. You can kind of just go through here and scroll. This is something that a bunch of my friends that are also playing this were telling me to do, and it does end up being worth it based on the things they've shown me. I don't have any specific information for you, but it is worth joining for sure. So that was more or less the combat of the game, and I'll show you guys PvP too, where I'll probably get mollywopped. But I also want to show you the grid. Now, the grid is basically an in-game gold store. As you can see in the top right, I have a bunch of gold, right? This gold is going to allow me to get other units, and I mean, honestly, that's pretty cool. I'm glad that we don't have to swipe real money for it. But the way the grid works is really interesting. Okay, you see, look at the top and the bottom sliders. These sliders go back and forth whenever I select something. Same with the side sliders, right? If I move between different units, these sliders move. Basically, whenever you buy a unit, the row and column that are selected by this get vaporized. So if you want to be smart about your shop, if there's multiple things in your shop that you want, what you can do is move something on the grid, and that could put it into a safer spot. Now, me personally, I don't necessarily want to lose access to all of these minis. Bat Rider seems pretty good. Let's see. Flying, AoE, Elemental, Bombard. Okay, so the only downside is that they can't do flying attacks, but they seem decent. Molten Giant also looks pretty good. Armored Obsidian Tank, 1 target siege damage, so good for towers. Molten Giant is 6 cost, but I would imagine that they're pretty good for when you've cleared out most of the enemies and you just need to go for the tower, and the tower's slowly mowing everyone down. So let's say I want Molten Giant. There's not really a good way to do this. Prowler's pretty good for picking up chests, but if I get Prowler, then Molten Giant's gone. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and move Molten Giant. You can choose a different place to put them. I don't want to lose everything in these, but I am willing to lose the Whelps, and I am willing to lose Bat Rider. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna grab Molten Giant. Boom. And now both of these rows and columns have reset. Now we have Mountaineer. So now I have Common Mountaineer, I have Common Ogre Mage, and I have Common Quillbore. Now Quillbore is actually a really good unit that I have yet to pick up. Melee, Unbound, and they're a tank. So you can throw them down wherever you need. Granted, their damage themselves is not super good, but if you just need to throw something down in front of your other units so they don't get absolutely obliterated, Quillbore is actually really good for that. And we have this modest XP boost. Anything we buy on this row is gonna get some XP. So I'm gonna go and buy Quillbore. Boom, we got some XP. And that's how the grid system works. If you scroll down a little bit, you have offers. You can go ahead and buy like XP and stuff. There's always gonna be a free bonus thing. You should always grab it. It's always worth using. Leveling up Safe Pilot, pretty good. Now you can upgrade all of these minis to try and have extra abilities that could be super helpful. You get talent slots, but the talent slots do be pretty permanent until you unlock the other ones. So that's something to keep in mind. To get this, you have to get access to dungeons, which do come later. I don't actually have access to them just yet, but I've heard they're very fun. So far, I do like the sort of minion building. I like the way the game is paced, and I like the idea of a currency curve where if you know exactly how to plan out your gold expenditure based on the minis that you have, you can find a lot of success. So I really do enjoy that. I enjoy that you can buy all of the minis in the shop here without having to spend a dime of real life currency. That's pretty good. But next up, I want to get Mollywop to PvP. I have not played this yet. All right, I'm against Lilumas. Okay, so looking at the map here, I want this chest. I don't want them to have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw them here. I'm gonna throw him here. I'm gonna throw the Knoll on top of this one. Boom. I do think, I think we lost that. We're gonna try to mine some of this gold. They're already kind of ahead of us on gold. Puts us in a bit of a precarious situation. I'm gonna go ahead and throw down Safe Pilot right here. Try to kill this Knoll before he gets the gold. There we go. All right, we send out the Kobold Miner. We're gonna go for the mines. And because they place these guys so close together, we can just use a spell to take them out. Or almost take them out. They're pretty close. The tower will take them out. All right, so now our Kobold's gonna mine some of this. This is gonna be so good. Gonna throw down this lightning spell, get rid of them. Now we're gonna save up some gold and we're gonna go ahead and make our push. In just a second, go ahead and throw this guy down. A Lava Wake. Throw up our tank in front of him. We'll throw down another miner here just to be safe. I'm gonna go ahead and wait for them to drop a whole bunch of minions because I think they're saving up all their gold to do this. Here we go. We potentially clear this out pretty quick. They have a bunch of flying enemies coming towards us. So that's something we have to be aware of. And now the chests are out. So now that the chests are out, we're gonna go ahead and use Safe Pilot. We got some extra gold. We need to claim this chest right here. There we go. Okay, so now the gold is really shifted in our favor. Go ahead and use a spell on them here. Go ahead and put a tank up. Put down a Kobold Miner to try to get ahead of the curve with gold even more. And now we're going to slowly clear out these waves. And this tower is already at half HP, which is nice. Getting extra gold from the rocks. So now we basically control the mines, right? They can't do anything about this. All right, we're ahead on... So now we're at 10, which is pretty sick. All right, and there we go. So just like that, I mean, I wasn't even looking at the tower, but because we managed our resources and we controlled the gold zones better, we ended up actually just winning that. I mean, we didn't win by a ton. I think our health was like halfway full when we were gone. So like we did take a fair bit of damage, but that was actually my first game of PvP. I've never played a game of PvP before that. And just simply by controlling the gold mines and controlling the chests, we were able to pull ahead by like a pretty okay margin. So pretty good stuff. I think my internet just cut out. Give me a moment. There we go. We're back. Just like that, we get a little bit of a reward. Super nice, so we can either gain XP to either one of these. I'm gonna give it to my leader. Leader becomes even stronger. I'm not using Griffins right now, so I'll go ahead and give it to Lava Golem. I'm not using Lava Golem either, but I'll probably use them sooner. As you can see, you'll unlock more zones as you get more of these sigils. And once you get 30 is when you get access to the dungeons, and the dungeons are going to allow you to upgrade your troops more. And overall, the progression of this game actually feels like pretty solid, like pretty fast. Like I said, I haven't played it a ton, so these really are just my first impressions after talking with some friends and playing the game for a little bit. And I do actually like it a lot. I don't know that it'll be permanent content on my channel, but it's definitely a game that I'm still going to play off on the side, especially as a big fan of Warcraft. I've played a ton of WoW. I never played the original Warcraft games, but it's cool to see a lot of the sort of, I don't want to call them enemies, just creatures from the World of Warcraft come alive. So as I mentioned before, this video was sponsored. So if you're interested in checking out the video, it does help me a lot. It makes the brand like me. I want Blizzard to like me. If you download the game in the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, just whatever store your mobile phone has, it really helps me out if you manage to find the game. You can do that with the links down below in the description and pinned comment. And next time we'll be looking at a bit more of a strategy guide, and following that we'll be looking at a full-blown review of the game, everything after I've been playing the game for a while. So look forward to that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.